Hey, what's up, universe? It's 3:28 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, October 29th, 2023. That last video was pretty long and it was a little meandering, and it talked a lot about what the end goal is, right? So on reflecting, I was thinking there's a few things that I didn't hit on that I would like to touch on, and I'll do this. I'm being mindful and I'll be quick about it. One of the responses that I got was a direct message, and the message was like, I don't think that your sister's coming from a place, I think she's just expressing, her concern about you being out, in the elements and in the cold, basically stating that my sister Lisa was, coming across, her energetic place was a place of concern, and I agree. I agree with that. I don't think that. I did not interpret my sister's message as, antagonistic, like I tried to say in my previous video or two ago. That I understand how my actions and choices may inspire certain feelings in other people. So I agree that there's people in my life that are watching what's going on, and they have concern. And that inspires certain feelings in them, and I've had that communicated to me, directly as well. So I get that, and on some level, I appreciate that, and I say on some level just because, it's not my intention to inspire that, and it's while I appreciate the concern, I would rather they look out for themselves in the sense of it's not about being apathetic, right? It's not about I'm asking them to not care. It's about asking them to protect themselves. You know what I mean? Understanding that I'm making my own choices, and that that I'm okay with the choices, and it just goes back to the whole personal sovereignty thing, just understanding, okay, this guy's doing what he's doing, and there's going to be repercussions of that. He knows what they are. He's making his bed, he's lying in it, and just kind of letting it be what it is, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to acknowledge that I didn't interpret my sister's message as antagonistic. I'm trying to think here, if there's other, I know there's a couple other things, and it feels like they're escaping me. So let me take a moment and kind of reconnect with what some of those other things may have been. One of the things that I found very interesting about this experience is that, and I've spoken to this before in previous videos, how, my relationship with, Angela and her husband, and just how that's actually been experienced by me, and I think by them, honestly, how our experience together has been throughout this, past few months, and it's beyond my expectations, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So this is one of those things where, again, I don't allow myself to get hung up on appearances, and again, I don't know what the divine design is, and there's miracles that happen all the time, and I would have never, ever have guessed that I experienced what I've been experiencing, the grace, the support, the kindness, the generosity, just all of that. I would have never have guessed that I experienced what I've been experiencing. It's very much a welcome surprise, and I'm grateful for it. And to tell you the truth, even to speak to this a little bit, right. Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to get derailed. So to speak to Reese, right? I remember, like, her first husband, and just the relationship that her and her first husband had, and I was like, man, I wish that Angela and I could have that. You know what I mean? And I would say that over the last couple of months, like, there's some of that energy that I was like, man, I wish we could have that Angela and I could have that. I feel like we've experienced that over the last couple of months, and that's just really awesome to me. And so even though, like, there's all of this stuff going on and it looks like a certain way and whatever, there's all of these little things that are happening that's all part of the bigger process, you know what I mean? And I'm grateful for that, so, like, I've gone through enough things in my life to know that these little gems lie throughout the process, to appreciate. That's why I don't get hung up on appearances, where I'm like, look, man, there's other stuff going on, and I don't necessarily know what all it is, and I'll know it when I see it as I'm seeing it. But as I'm going through it, like, I couldn't have told, I would not have been able to tell you that this change, this experience, this is going to be part of the process. It just happens to be something that is a beautiful side effect, a beautiful, like, outgrowth of the process, and something that I'm extremely grateful for. Some of the conversations that I've had, even just last night, and just the connection. I'm totally grateful for that. So it's one of those things where it's like, does it look amazing? Does it feel amazing? No, it doesn't all the time. No, it doesn't. Yet, are there real fruits to this? Yes, absolutely. And would I change anything? I mean, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so, because some of these things that I'm receiving, I've, like, pined for like years, and now they're showing up in the most unexpected ways, and I'm like, oh man, like, that's awesome, so I just want to acknowledge that, because that's an important thing. I think, just to speak generally, like, about why I allow myself to do what I do and make the choices that I make, is, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. I'm a spiritual being, having a human experience, and I've learned that, fear, while valid, as far as an experience and as far as a feeling, and as far as a reaction, I'm not going to invalidate, that's a real thing. It's part of the reason that it's not just the system of government that, like, that I'm challenging, but, like, our system of existence. Like, there's really nothing to fear. There's really nothing to fear. Now, don't get me wrong, I still get scared. I still get, like, worried. I still experience anxiety from time to time. I sure do. I'm human. Yet, I'm absolutely fascinated by stepping into that and, like, moving through that, and of course I'm gonna give myself permission to make choices that seem radical or completely unorthodox or completely, just unhinged in a way, because if fear is what is stopping me, I'm going to really reevaluate that. You know what I mean? Within reason. I'm not talking about, like, doing something that would harm anybody, physically or anything like that. It's just about what could really happen. You know what I mean? What could really happen? And allowing myself to be open to that. And my life has been a pretty amazing ride because I've allowed myself to be open to that, you know. There's a lot of hidden doors, so to speak, that I've been able to walk through, you know. Anyway, that's a piece, and I can't necessarily think of anything else. I think that's pretty much the main things. Definitely want to do is acknowledge the shift in relationship, acknowledge my sister, like her place of concern. Yeah, allowing myself to, you know, it's about giving ourselves permission to be fearless. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because otherwise I'm going to be kind of fumbling around. All right. It does seem like there's probably something else, but I can't remember it. I know what it is now. So, yeah, I definitely would love to, like, sleeping in a bed is awesome. Sleeping in a car is not so bad. Sleeping outside is, like, you know, can be good, but it doesn't really afford me the best when the weather's not cooperating, right? When it's cold and wet, or storming or whatever. So I say that because, like, you know, now I have employment and I have cash, and I would love to, like, you know, give myself a hotel room, you know, at least one night or something like that. Sleep in a bed, catch up, rejuvenate, you know, this kind of a thing. Thing is that I just have cash, right? I don't have a bank account. I don't have a credit card. And I've spoken to this before in some videos, that to participate in a lot of what our society offers, you have to be plugged into the financial system. You have to have a debit card. You have to have a bank account. You have to have a credit card. You know, otherwise there's a lot of things that some of us might take for granted because we're just like, oh, you can just go do that. It's like, well, no, you can't just go do that. You know what I mean? Like, if all you have is cash, you can't. I can't rent a car. I can't just buy a plane ticket. I can't just get a hotel room. I can't even get just like an Airbnb. You know, like, if I work something out with somebody, I might be able to, you know, but that I can't just log into these sites and buy these things because I don't have the accounts, I don't have the systems, I don't have the infrastructure to participate in those systems. And I've been in this position before, and I've spoken to it before, and it really gives me an idea of what it's like and compassion for those in the world that are what would be called unbanked. And there's a lot of, you know, first world conveniences that are simply unavailable when one is not plugged into the system. And I'm not complaining about that. I'm just acknowledging that. You know, because that's part of, I've gotten some comments about that too, about like, hey, like, it looks like you could use a place to stay, or like, you know, like a room or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, like that'd be amazing. And then I could be ignorant and blind. It just doesn't seem, it's not as readily accessible to me, and I'm unaware of how to engage with that with strictly cash. And it's understandable, you know, like hotels want credit cards, you know, something happens to the room, damages, whatever, over things that they might need to get their compensation for. I get it. So, same thing with like Airbnbs, whatever. So anyway, I just put that out there because when I first experienced that, I was like, oh wow, like there's a lot that people don't have access to when they don't have what feels like something I know I took for granted, you know, a bank account, a debit card, a credit card. Like, everybody's got these. Not everybody has these. And yes, I've chosen that. I understand that. And again, I'm not complaining about it. It's just an acknowledgement of what that looks like, because there's people out there that may not have chosen it the way that I chose it, and they are experiencing the same thing. It's a way of me learning compassion. It's just kind of like, yeah, dude, I get that. I know what that's like. And that goes back to part of the end goal too, man. Like when I started getting funds from working, I tipped. I started giving back because I had. I would give what I could because I had. I had some, and so I gave. And like where some people might be inclined to be like, oh, I'm just starting to get something, so I've got to protect it, I've got to hoard it, I've got to kind of have their own feral energy around it, where I'm like, no, dude, this came into my life. I have more than I had before. I'm going to share it. You know what I mean? And that, because people have done the same for me, they shared with me. And for me, it's about, that's part of the magic of life, is experiencing that. It's a beautiful thing when I've received things from people that owe me no loyalties. It's an awe-inspiring experience. It's I don't know, I just kind of really feel the universe come through, and it's an honor to participate that way and be that for somebody else. So the whole giving and receiving. Anyway, that's what I got. I'm gonna wrap it up on that. Okay. I love you guys. Thanks for giving me some time again, and for being with me and for journeying with me. And I will talk to you guys later. All right, I love you guys. Bye.